Hey e-commerce marketing podcast listener, I wanted to let you know that we have created 16 e-commerce marketing videos for you. You can download these free videos by visiting ecommercemarketingpodcast.com/videos or by texting the word videos to +1 480 418 1411. These step-by-step video marketing tutorials will teach you how to drive more traffic to your e-commerce website, how to get more backlinks to your e-commerce website, and how to optimize your website to get more paid customers. Get the videos right now by visiting ecommercemarketingpodcast.com/videos or by texting videos to +1 480 418 1411. Welcome to the e-commerce marketing podcast. Today's guest is Ryan Grant from OnlineSellingExperiment.com. Welcome to the podcast, Ryan.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
If you can just tell us about yourself, what's your background information as far as selling online and what do you do with your business and your company?
Yeah, definitely. So I started selling online back in about 2008. I was in college at a small school in Southeast Minnesota, and my first foray into selling online was with textbooks. I was noticing the gap in prices between what the college bookstore was willing to pay me for my books and what they were going for online, and Amazon in particular. And then that led me down a path of starting my own, basically e-commerce business. I started with textbooks on Amazon, selling my own, selling my friends, and then we would set up at some other campuses near Southeast Minnesota and buy books from students there as well. So that was kind of my first start into it. If we fast forward to today, I've been doing this full time now for about 4 years, and my business sells primarily on Amazon, and then we also sell on eBay and Jet.com, and we're just getting started in putting some of our products live on a Shopify store as well. So my business is based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We sell all kinds of different products. Kind of depends on the time of the year and what's the most in-demand product at the time. I've got a team of about 8 people that help me with the business, both everything from sourcing product, fulfillment, and getting everything out the door. So that's a quick rundown of what I'm up to and kind of how I got here.
Okay, so you first started, was this like a side hustle when you were selling the textbooks?
Yeah, that was more or less a side hustle. That was when I was in college, so I was taking classes and then doing the textbook buyback type events in addition to that.
Okay, and did you do that for 5 years and then starting in 2013, that's when you started selling your own products and coming up with your own products?
Yeah, so about 5 years was how long the textbook thing lasted. When I graduated from college, I became an accountant for about a year and 9 months at an accounting firm in downtown Minneapolis. I was still doing the textbook thing on the side, but I wanted to dedicate full-time hours to both the textbook thing and then seeing what I could do see what I could do in terms of expanding the e-commerce business beyond just textbooks too. So I quit that in September of 2013, and that's when the full-time portion of this began.
Okay. And are you glad and happy about your decision just to go full-time and pursue your entrepreneurial dreams?
Absolutely, yeah. Very happy that I made that decision, because in that job, I wasn't unhappy, but I wasn't really happy with what I was doing either. I was kind of just content, and I always had wanted to do my own business full time. So I'm really happy that I stepped away to do this. I mean, it's played out really well for me. So it's been one of the better decisions I've ever made.
Like, give us an example. What's one thing that you're able to do right now as an entrepreneur that gives you, pleasure and fulfillment that you didn't get when you were working as an accountant?
Yeah, one of the biggest things is probably just being able to provide jobs for people and provide them a way to make an income. And that's not something that I really had any control of when I was an accountant. So that's been very fulfilling. And then just the freedom of time and freedom of schedule has been another big thing for me. I mean, there's definitely times where I'm putting in more hours than I would have, but then there's also times where I can kind of step away and take a week off here or there, and then the business keeps running either way.
Okay, so let's switch back to the business and marketing. So before we delve into the marketing strategies, what are the different products that you're selling right now in Amazon and Jet?
Yeah, so we sell all kinds of different products. We work with everything from wholesale companies, distributors. So we sell primarily other people's products, and then we buy them via wholesale relationships. So we sell everything from clothes, shoes, home goods, home improvement type products. And then we'll do a lot of toys and gift type items closer to Christmas as well. So that's kind of a far ranging amount of products that we sell.
Okay. And now we can get into the marketing. So what are some of the top marketing strategies that you're using to get customers and get traffic?
Yeah, so we really try to harness the power of these existing marketplaces and make sure that we're really taking advantage of the fees that we pay to them in return for them getting the customers that they already have, and then just providing products that these customers are looking for. Mm-hmm. So we look a lot already at, on Amazon, for example, we look a lot at the sales rank on these products, and then that gives us an indication of how well it's already selling. So we look for products like that, and then we'll go into these products and see what we can improve on the listings, see if there's keywords that we can add that are working for other products that we can add to products that we're selling. I guess we can dive in specific as you want into the strategies, but we really are trying to harness the power of Amazon, for instance, because they have millions of customers, and then offering the products for sale to their customers in return for a fee is a pretty good deal. So we're not driving tons of traffic to Amazon, but we're making sure that the products that we sell on Amazon, when a customer is looking at our listing, we have the best chances of getting them to convert and actually turn into a sale on Amazon.
Okay, so let's get into the details of how you're doing that. So what are you doing to optimize your listing? So as far as keywords, how do you find the keywords, etc.? So we can just break it down and we can go into the details.
Yeah, so in terms of finding keywords for the products, there's a couple different tools that we use. One's called Merchant Words, and then another is called ASIN Inspector. With both of these tools, you can evaluate competitors' listings and figure out what types of keywords they are using that are converting for them and generating sales. And then we're able to use a combination of that and then also search for additional keywords from Merchant Words. And then we're able to put these keywords into the back end of our Amazon listings. And then that allows us to effectively begin competing for specific search terms that customers are using on Amazon. And then we're able to hopefully increase the sales for the products that we're selling. So that's one of the big things that we do to make sure that our items are showing up when customers are searching for anything that relates to what we're selling.
And how long does it take for this change to take place? Once you find good keywords, you optimize your listing with these keywords, how long before you start seeing the results?
It depends a little bit on how much competition is out there for similar products. It can be within a couple of days. Sometimes it's going to take a few weeks to begin really seeing the benefit. It's going to depend a bit on how saturated the market is. But if you're in an unsaturated area of the market and you're targeting some kind of untapped potential with keywords, you'll start seeing results within a few days.
Okay. And are there other things that you can do for the optimization other than just getting keywords that you can rank for?
Making sure that you have really good high quality product images, making sure that everything on your listing, you're taking advantage of all the bullet points, your title, making sure that all of that is full of keywords and just really putting in the effort on it. You can kind of tell on listings that have where the person has put a lot of time and effort into the listing, and those are generally listings that convert better as opposed to listings that only have one or two pictures and one or two bullet points and not a full product description. So just really putting in the time and effort into the listing, making sure you have the pictures, title, bullet points, and then a solid product description. Those are all things that go a long way. And then one other thing to make sure that you're utilizing with Amazon is just using their sponsored product ads, which is a ad platform that they have directly within their platform. And you can run initially, so they have two types of campaigns. They have automatic campaigns, and then they also have manual campaigns. The automatic campaigns just targets keywords that Amazon believes will be best for your products to generate sales. So those are a really good way to start. You could start with some relatively low low bids and a low budget per day. And then after it's been running for about a week, you can download all of the data from that ad set, and it's going to tell you which keywords have been performing the best. It's basically going to show you which keywords you're getting the best cost per click on, which keywords you're getting the best cost per sale on, and then you can go from there and create a manual campaign targeting specifically those keywords. So that's another thing that we do. So I'd recommend initially doing like an automatic campaign on Amazon's sponsored product ads, and then from there you can pull out the best performing ads or best performing keywords and use those in a manual campaign. And then if you keep going with that process, you can eventually have a lot of ads that perform at a very good cost per sale.
Okay, so just to help me understand, I'm not that familiar with Amazon. I'm not an Amazon seller.
Okay.
But you said something that stood out to me. So you said you can start with those sponsored listings, and within the setting, you can select automatic keywords, or there's a setting for automatic, right?
Yeah, they call it automatic targeting.
Okay, automatic targeting. So is it possible that you can just run the same process you just described using the automatic targeting, and then when you download that spreadsheet and you see the best performing keywords, can't you just also grab those keywords and optimize those for your listing?
Yep, you can. You definitely do want to put those in the listing too, and then that helps you in that side of things too.
Okay, and so you can optimize the listing to try and get more customers and to rank higher than your competitors. But is that the main thing that you have to do with Amazon to get sales, or are there some like secrets and hacks that experts sometimes don't want to share with everybody, or like, you know, they don't want to share it online because everybody can start using them and then they can no longer be competitive? So are you holding out on some things, like some secrets, or do you want to like help out the audience and share something?
I mean, optimizing the listing is really the main thing. I'm not really holding back specific secrets. I mean, we're focusing on, the best way to get sales on Amazon, if you are selling products other than your own, is to find products that are already selling well and then figure out a way to be able to sell that exact same product. So that, we're really tapping into the existing demand for products. That's kind of our number one strategy across the different sourcing methods that we use.
Okay. And earlier you mentioned that eventually you're going to pivot and start selling on Shopify. So with the products that you're looking to start selling on Shopify, will this be your own products that you come up with, or what's going to be the whole goal with that pivot?
Yeah, so the goal with that pivot is to have more or less our own sales channel in addition to Amazon, Jet, and eBay, and be able to kind of be independent of those to some degree and begin creating our own brand. So our initial pivot will most likely be just to the existing products that we're already selling on these marketplaces. We'll just get those transferred over to our own Shopify store. And then we are in the process of testing some of our own products as well. So they'll be our own branded products, and then we'll see how that goes as well.
Okay, and have you started looking at marketing as far as promoting that online store?
We are just getting started with that process. We don't believe that we've fully tapped out the potential of these existing marketplaces. We know how to do that, and we can do it pretty well. So we're continuing to dedicate time and effort there as opposed to a bunch of time to the new websites. So we're just getting started with that, but we'll definitely be putting more of a plan in place before we really get that up and running.
Okay. And at your website, the online selling experiment, do you like go over different case studies that you've tried with your own listings? The reason I'm asking is because of the name, the online selling experiment. So I'm expecting that you're sharing different case studies that you've done as far as selling in Amazon.
Yep, there's different case studies on the site, and then part of the reason for the name too is I started the blog when I quit my job as the accountant, and then I documented my initial financial results for about the first 2 years. So those posts are on there too, so you can kind of see how the business progressed from basically just getting started full time to beginning to grow a team, and then I don't publish financial results today for a few different reasons, but you can see how the business grew initially. So that was another reason for calling it the online selling experiment.
Okay. And over this past few years, what have been some of the mistakes that you have done that you think people should be avoiding?
Yeah, in terms of mistakes, one of the biggest ones is probably trying to do too many things at once. There's a lot of different ways you can source products for Amazon, a lot of different strategies to make your products sell on Amazon. And at different times, I've tried to do more or less all of them at the same time. And then that leads to not really getting result in any of them. So that's been a big one. It's kind of like a shiny object syndrome, or a lot of entrepreneurs probably experience it, but they always want to take advantage of whatever opportunities they see, and then sometimes that comes at the expense of things that are working well. So whenever my business and my team is focused on the things that we are good at and are seeing results at, we tend to see better results. And then if we ever spread ourselves too thin, that tends to diminish the level of results that we're seeing. So that's probably the biggest one over the past couple of years. I mean, there's lots of other mistakes I'm sure that we've made, but that's one that sticks out at the top of my mind.
Okay. Do you have any other thoughts, any final thoughts as far as selling on Amazon, selling online and marketing online products?
I think the big thing is just really taking advantage of the power of these platforms. I mean, their whole goal is to get people on them to have these customers buy products, and they're looking for products. So I would highly recommend getting on Amazon if you're any type of brand owner. And if you have your own Shopify site, I think getting your products listed on Amazon, eBay, Jet just makes sense, because you can sync it all up to your current process and get additional distribution for your products. And then on the flip side, if you're selling on only Amazon, I think expanding into like Jet, eBay, there's ways to sync it all up so that it's all automated, and then you're getting additional distribution. So I think my big takeaway, or my big thought, would just be make sure you're really harnessing the power of these existing platforms.
Okay, Ryan, thanks for being on the podcast. If people wanted to reach you, how can they reach you?
My website, onlinesellingexperiment.com, is probably the best way, and then you can find a contact form there as well.
Okay, and last question, what is the one thing an e-commerce business can do right now to get more traffic, get more customers, get more sales, get more leads?
I would say expand the platforms that you're on. So if you're not on all of the big ones, Amazon, eBay, Jet, Walmart, I would get on those and make sure that you're really harnessing the power of these platforms and making sure that your brand is getting distribution everywhere that you possibly can.
Okay, Ryan, thanks for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to the e-commerce marketing podcast. Join the e-commerce marketing podcast Facebook group to learn, connect, collaborate, and grow with other e-commerce marketers at ecommercemarketingpodcast.com/FB. ecommercemarketingpodcast.com/FB. Subscribe to us on iTunes by searching for e-commerce marketing podcast, and please leave a rating and a review. Thank you for listening. See you next time.